All right, the philosophical problem of free will, at its core, is based on the threat of a thesis known as the thesis of determinism, sometimes causal determinism. We're just going to call it determinism. What is determinism? It's a very general thesis about the causal relationship between past and future. And we're going to try to get clear about what determinism does and doesn't say. There's a specific and careful formulation of it that I want you to know. So here's the rough and intuitive version to give you a sense of it before we try to be more rigorous. Roughly, determinism says that the way things were in the past necessitate or guarantee or determine the way things will be in the future. Again, very roughly, determinism is the thesis that the way things were in the past guarantee that things will be a certain way in the future. The thesis about the relationship between past and future. That's very imprecise, and we need to add a lot more detail. So to do that, I want to lay out two definitions. The first definition is of this phrase, the state of the world, or SOW, the state of the world at a given time. And then the second is the idea of a law of nature, or plural laws of nature, or LONs. To define determinism precisely, we need to understand both of these ideas. So let's say that the state of the world at a given time is a complete description, exhaustive. When I say complete, I mean absolutely complete, down to the last detail. Complete description or specification of which physical objects there are in the universe at that time t, and which properties or features those objects have at t. So, for example, I'm a physical object, so are you. The description that is the state of the world at this moment in time when you're watching this video, that description is exhaustive and complete, so it's going to include, among other things, a sentence that says JB is making a video. It's also, even before that, going to include a sentence that says JB exists, right? Likewise for you, a sentence that says you exist, a sentence that says you're seated in this position, your hair is this color. All of those details at the everyday level, at the microphysical level, microphysical descriptions of every cell in your body, all of that is going to get packed into the state of the world at this moment in time. Of course, the same goes for every other physical object. This thing, the mouse, the keyboard, planet Earth, every little quark, Saturn, stretching all the way out to the outer reaches of the ever-expanding universe. All of it gets included at this moment in time in the state of the world at this time. As you can see, the content of the state of the world at any given time is going to change, right? So the state of the world in the year 1950 did not include a sentence, Jonathan Barker exists. Maybe there was someone that went by that name, and I assume there was. That sentence will be referring to that Jonathan Barker. There won't be one that refers to me, because I didn't exist in that time. Even the description of the way things are right now is going to differ a little bit from the state of the world a few moments ago when I described the state of the world, including details about your hair color and so on. It's now going to say they've shifted positions. So here's a silly little visual representation. I like pictures, they help me picture this. This is obviously not an exhaustive description, but this gives you a sense of both large and small, the kinds of things that are going to be included in the state of the world at any given time. Facts about all the life on Earth in the year 200 million BCE, January 1st at precisely 12 p.m. It's going to include, Brontosaurus number 4000 is reaching for a leaf. again, the content of the state of the world at the next moment is going to change slightly. The other thing that you need to know is the idea of a law of nature. Laws of nature are scientific generalizations. I'm going to put it this way, this is a little bit imperfect, but it'll do for our purposes. Scientific generalizations about what causes what and how. So like Newton's laws, to the extent that they hold for macroscopic objects, those count as laws of nature. They describe in general how things causally interact, how the properties of physical things work with one another and what they produce and how. Einstein's relativity theory and its laws. Quantum mechanical laws, to the extent that there are laws, will count in quantum mechanics. Chemical laws will count. The laws of thermodynamics. All of these are very general, abstract statements, right? You can state a law using usually an equal sign and using variables, so these aren't claims about specific things. Instead, they tell us how the world in general unfolds given certain kinds of forces, certain kinds of mass, certain kinds of physical properties, and what the outputs are. Laws, in other words, are descriptions of, given certain physical inputs, what kinds of outputs come out the other side. That's one way to think about it. So we now have this idea of the state of the world, the idea of the laws of nature. We can now define determinism more precisely. The state of the world plus the laws of nature at any given time t guarantee or necessitate only one possible state of the world at a subsequent time, t plus 1. So the state of the world, which is a complete description of the way things are at any given time, together with the laws of nature at that time, guarantee or necessitate only one possible future at a subsequent time, t plus 1. So if you take our state of the world in 200 million BCE there at precisely noon, January 1st, and then you add the laws of nature in, determinism says at 1201 there is another state of the world, slightly different. I think I included a few more. There was a hatching there of what are those things? Whatever those dinosaurs are. There was a few more of them that were hatched. I deleted a few atoms. A few of those went away. T plus 1. And if you reverse the, so to speak, reverse the sort of movie of time backwards and press play again, determinism says you're going to get exactly the same future. If you hold fixed the same past, hold fixed the laws, you'll always get the same future. And then if you go one step further and apply the thesis of determinism once again to t plus 1, determinism tells us that there's only one possible future consistent with t plus 1 and the laws of nature, which is t plus 2. Maybe there's even more baby dinosaurs. Maybe there's fewer. Maybe that's when the meteor hits. I don't know. There will be these changes, but whatever occurs will be a function of the past and the laws of nature. Here's another way to think about it. Determinism says that the relationship between the past and the future is a function, a deterministic function. So if you plug in the same past, the same state of the world in the past, you plug in the same laws of nature, you're always guaranteed to get the same state of the world in the future. That's what determinism says.